And I entered this in the, what was it, the Waterfowl Carving Magazine online competition in the beginners category, and it took first place. So that'll be featured in the 2018 Wildfowl Carving competition catalog that comes out next year or next spring. So that's pretty cool.
What kind of wood?
Tupelo.
Yeah.
Matt, mind if I ask you on your browns? I had a hard time getting the browns to the one I want. What was your recipe for your brown head?
Oh man, I actually had it like a solid, really dark color at first, with like some shadows and stuff, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look right to me. So I went over it with like a sienna, like a yellow oxide and like raw sienna and like some white. And I lightened it up a little bit, and then I was like, oh, that's better. And then I really started filling it in. But I think at one point I added like a orange, like a gold oxide to it and made it a little bit more orange. And I think I may have airbrushed some of those oranger colors over it at one point too, to kind of like lighten it up a little bit. And then I also darkened it up a little bit too. Yeah, I was done. All this went pretty fast painting until I got to the head. And I was like, oh, this is going to be easy with this not much iridescence and just this chocolate brown color. But the trick was to make it look a little bit lighter up close, but darker further away, which is kind of backwards, you know. But yeah, I thought I got the idea, or got it pretty good. I did, in the process of making this, I made 2 Drake widgeons while I was working on this at the same time. And these are way more fun than widgeons because you have to deal with that weird mauve color. Like grays and black and whites and grays are a lot more fun to play around with shadows and lights, highlights and stuff. But fun bird, I haven't done very many of these before, or not too many pintails before, so glad how it turned out. My original plan was to do like the head up, tail up display, you know, and they kind of fold up. And I made that out of clay, and I just couldn't get it to look right. So I kept on like flattening out the back until I got to something like this. And I was like, oh, I guess that works. Either before or after it does that display move. And I felt like that left a little bit more room for interpretation too, so I was like, better, you know.
Well, being this was online, did you just send pictures in or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent in like a left and a right view, a top view, and then like 2 detail views. And they said that they were going to announce the winners on the 15th, and I didn't hear anything till the 19th, so I was pretty sure I didn't win anything.
So I brought a couple birds down today. The first one is a little ringneck duck. We shoot a lot of ringnecks, and one of the guys that I hunt with, he won a print at Delta at one of the banquets for a ringneck duck print, which you don't see too many most of the time at Delta. It's usually blue wings or pintails. And he got this ringneck duck print. He said, well, make me a decoy to go with that print. I said, all right, I'll make you a decoy. But we have to hunt it. So you have to let me kill it, and we have to hunt it. And then you can have it. So I finished it, and I sent him the pictures, and I got a text message back in all caps, do not kill. His wife saw his phone before he saw it. She found out we were going to hunt over it, put the foot down faster than you could imagine. And I hadn't even really put my phone down and moved on to the next project yet, and I was already told no kill. We're not hunting this bird. So this one is unfortunately not going to go in the water. It's all cedar, painted in acrylics. The other one I brought down is black duck. Started out as a mallard pattern, and then I'm not a fan of mallards. I don't really do well with them. They intimidate me with all their different color patterns and everything else. So one day, I had it carved. I had the head all on, had it all ready for paint. And, you know, like we all do, I was just sitting around in the shop and I had some different pieces of scrap, and I take my scrap, I put it in the burn bucket, it goes in the wood stove. And I took a piece out and took the torch, instead of lighting the stove, I just ran it over the top of that piece of cedar. And the wood came out this raw umber color. And then the grain popped out gold. And I sat there looking at it, and I went through my reference pictures and pulled out a black duck, and I took a picture of that wood, and I sent the reference photo to Dave Jacobs and said, "Will this work?" He said, "I don't know, what's the worst that can happen? You hit it with the torch, it doesn't work, you paint it into a mallard." So we turned it into a black duck, and I'm fairly happy with the way it turned out. I did sand the texture down to make it a little bit lighter because it was a little dark at the first run, but same thing, hollowed cedar. Painted in acrylics, the small amount of paint that's on it.
This is a tufted puffin decoy. I was at Keith Mueller's class at Crossman's a couple weeks ago, and it's a contemporary antique. It's solid Tupelo. It feels really light. It's just a light piece of Tupelo, and painted in oil alkyds and antiqued through various arcane methods, little shot holes and stuff here. So, anyway, I had a lot of fun making this one. So.
Nice.
That's a bird on the ocean, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to talk the ducks today. This is a cane. Actually, this is a spruce root that I picked up on a camping trip in northern Ontario in 1971. I used it for a hiking stick for couple of decades. This little hook was really neat when you got to climb a hill, you know, and you could hook on a tree and help you up. Well, my hiking days are over. I got the idea to put some vignettes and whatnot on here of places that we've been. So these are done with a burning pen. They're painted with acrylics, and I've sprayed it with lacquer so that it doesn't wear off. And my oldest son says, when I put my ashes away, why he wants it. So that's it. That's my walking stick.
Those of you who've been out the game fair for a number of years have probably seen this with no texturing or anything like that, and I've consequently caught verbal abuse for taking so long. Well, that didn't bother me so much until I was getting the same abuse from my wife for taking for so long. So I finally said I'll start doing it. So I've been working on it for a while. You know, I put the quills in, the detail, and then I took it to the champion carving thing we had a few weeks ago. And I had Kent Duff take a look at it. He goes, lots of detail, looks very nice. And then he pointed out the quills. And he goes, well, they're a little big, which I knew they were. But it didn't dawn on me that the quills are going a little too straight with the body, too little parallel. They should be going down a little bit. And then it dawned on me that, well, if my duck became real, it wouldn't get off the ground. But anyway, I'm enjoying doing. I'm doing some texturing and stuff. So anyway, it's getting there.
Save it with the paint.
I wrote a couple different things. Mallard, which is something we all work on quite a bit, but probably the story behind this mallard here, this is from a salvage utility pole we cut down about, I don't know, 2 years ago. This pole is probably in an alley since, whenever electricity first came to the cities back in the 1900s. So that pole is probably, 50 years old prior to that, so that's probably, 150 to 200-year-old piece of red cedar. But, as everybody strives to do antiquing, I kind of redo the reverse. So it's all covered up, the paint looks pretty nice, but trust me, there's about 7, 8, 10 different nail holes, bullet holes, knot holes, so really it's a practice on how to plug holes in asphalt. And also the pattern, if you look at this one, it's a little bit shorter, it actually looks a little taller. So again, when you're, don't have so much wood, adjust your pattern, so to give just some practice in adjusting your pattern to make sure everything aligns and shows. So she's a little bit flatter, but when I set it up to the other guts alongside of my home, I kind of like this one.
Can you show me the back of it, just for the camera? I'm sorry, there we go, yeah.
Was that cedar very hard or it was?
Very nice.
Cedar is, well, this was well aged, as they say, it's pretty tinder dry. So when you hit it with a chisel or drawn it, wherever you're working with, as everybody knows, cedar will run on you pretty darn fast, so be careful.
I got some white cedar from a guy west of Buffalo, and harder, it was a telephone pole, but it was harder than hell.
So this was red cedar, which is a little heavier. But again, the slivers that you get in your hand, you're gonna know in about a day.
If you want to buy some white cedar, I'll give you some.
All right, and then I felt that, probably the wrong time here, but I brought in a couple spearing decoys. So, crappie decoys, I've, done a half a dozen this past winter. And, little walleye, all these are weighted in the tank. Full nice, curved nice, little smaller ones, 5 incher. And, a little bit larger, so, they got a nice shine to them, nice patina. So kind of, one of the things I picked up from some of the other carvers talking to them, put them in the water, day after day, winter after winter, they get kind of bruised. They kind of, eventually that lacquer break down a little bit. So there's nothing like a $25 can of lacquer from your local body shop. Get that clear whatever. That seems to be the trick, but they're all pretty nice.
Well, I call this red-bellied woodpecker on pileated branch. And when I brought it out to the carving seminar, I had painted this branch 3 times, it's supposed to be broken up like that. And every time I painted, it got suckier and suckier and suckier. So we decided to just kind of impromptu the thing, and so it's carved out of pine, both pieces, painted in oils, and I had to put a little lead in the base here to make sure that it balanced right. But I just figured, talk to the Tom and Kent and Laura, and we decided, yeah, let's just go with, kind of fake it with the pileated, woodpecker now. Yeah, he doesn't have white on his head and all that kind of crap, didn't want that. So anyway, there it is. Yippee-ki-yay, 3 times I painted that thing. That's called loss of oil and loss of time.
What did he do 3 times?
I'm having a hard time understanding most of this, but probably painted it.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Take a break and then get started.